From Royal Communications Incorporated, good evening and welcome to King's News Broom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Today is Thursday, October 30, 2025, and I'm Shema Dia presenting. In the headlines, House Speaker Rachel Combs forcefully adjourned Thursday's section due to lack of control over members of the House of Representatives. Says he cannot hold section with people he cannot control. President Joseph Boakai and Foreign Minister Sarah Beslow Yanti tied Hawk and Jockey's video criticized by dozens of Liberians terms a disturbing display. It's in the news tonight, Solidarity and Trust for a New Day. Bomi County Senator Edwin Snow and several others deploy Liberian government's diplomatic engagement for a 36-month extension of visa modality with the United States. Away from home, the leader of Sudan's paramilitary Rapid Support Forces has declared an investigation into what he called violations committed by his soldiers during the capture of Sham. Fresh photos have broken out in Tanzania's major cities a day after elections, marred by clashes between opposition supporters and the police. This was the news bulletin, voices of those making the news at our package. I'll take a short break to be right back. Welcome back. At this juncture, we join Newton Tokwa with the news bulletin.
The House Speaker Rachel Combs Thursday was compelled to adjourn section due to what many believe to be lack of control over members of the House of Representatives. The section began with agitation among members of the House of Representatives, with Mossorota County District 10 Representative Yeke Koluba, which was put out of section by the Speaker. Members of the House of Representatives have been demanding payments of benefits and have accused Speaker Combs and others of misappropriating resources intended for members of that august body. The war of words escalated, prompting adjournment of section by the Speaker, saying he cannot continue section with a group of people he cannot control. In recent days, tensions have been mounting at the House of Representatives as several lawmakers are normally seen involved in verbal clashes. A video circulating on social media in which President Joseph Boakai and Foreign Affairs Minister Sarah Beslow Yanti are seen in a close proximity has sparked huge public criticism. The video posted by Presidential Press Secretary Kula Fofana appears to show the foreign minister dancing in an office while the president sitting and speaking on the phone. President Boakai in the video was later seen holding foreign minister and kissing her jaw and hugging him tight. Several Liberians home and abroad have begun giving mixed views, as many are saying the president and foreign minister were in a joyous mood over the U.S. Department of State revised visa reciprocity scheduled for Liberia. The video has been shared across dozens of social media platforms and is being viewed as disturbing displayed by the Liberian president and his foreign minister. The Solidarity and Trust for a New Day has extended heartfelt congratulations to the Liberian government for what it termed as the government's successful diplomatic engagement. Staying in a press statement issued Thursday, praised the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sarah Beslow Yanti, for ensuring the government successful diplomatic engagement that resulted in the United States government decision to extend visa validated for the Liberian travelers from 12 to 36 months. The civil society group at the same time applauds U.S. President Donald Trump for policy advancement. The new policy issue under Trump's administration was announced by the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and have received praises and celebration among dozens of Liberians. Many Liberians have described it as a milestone achievement. Stern noted that the engagement spearheaded by Minister Yanti's office in collaboration with the Liberia's diplomatic missions overseas, represents not only a triumph of diplomacy, but also a resounding testament to effective leadership and unwavering commitment to enhancing Liberia's international reputation. The new visa arrangement will strengthen people-to-people connections, boost trade and educational opportunities, and ease the long-standing challenges faced by Liberians seeking short-term travel to the United States. In a release issue under the signatures of State National Chairman Moba Molu, the civil society group emphasized that the updated U.S. visa exchange schedule reflects the shared commitment of both nations to deeper engagement and fair partnership. At the same time, Bomi County Senator Edwin Snow has congratulated President Joseph Boakai and Foreign Affairs Minister Sarah Beslo Yanti for the U.S. Department of State to revise its visa reciprocity schedule for our nation. Senator Snow, in a statement Thursday, said the extension of the validated period for key non-immigrant visas, including the B1, B2, business and tourism categories for a maximum period of 12 months to 36 months, is a significant achievement and welcoming news for all Liberians. He described the practical and meaningful development, adding that it will have a direct positive impact on the citizens. The head of the Liberian delegation to Ecuador Parliament noted that the new policy will reduce the burden of entrepreneurs, professionals, and families who seek to travel for commerce or to visit loved ones. Snow added that the move not only strengthens the historic ties between Liberia and the United States, but also provides Liberians with greater resources and sureness and ease burden of travels. In a related development, Information Minister Geraldine Pierre has expressed serious disappointment over the criticisms from people describing a 3-year visa reciprocity from the U.S. government as non-achievement. Pierre emphasized that the visa extension is a huge achievement of the United Party government, noting that previous administration did not achieve such feat, and further noted that the Boakai Koné administration is doing everything humanly possible to restore Liberia's image on the international stage, making reference to Liberia election under the UN Security Council, among others. In an official statement released yesterday by the U.S. State Department, the United States government announced the extension of a state duration of various categories of visas for Liberians visiting the United States. Under the new policy, Liberian applicants for B1 business, B2 tourism, and B1 and B2 business and tourism combination visas will now receive multiple entry visas valid for 3 years with no reciprocity fee attached for those who qualify. Grand July County Attorney Weekends now has announced cancellation of a previously signed 30 years dubious agreement granting a Burkinabe businessman the right to farm on 500 acres of forest land in the county. Antonina, who previously signed the agreement along with local officials, including Grand July County Superintendent, said he revoked his signatures following directives from the Ministry of Justice and the Executive Mansion, and also noted that he has since communicated with the county superintendent to officially inform the Burkinabe investor regarding the suspension of the deal. The Grand July County attorney claimed that he signed the document without full perusal because the document was presented him by the county superintendent Ellis Grant during a formal program. He added that after fully pursuing copies of the documents, he took home, he found out several discrepancies, which he directly communicated with the superintendent. Several residents of Grand July County are said to be wondering over the latest position of the county attorney, as many believe this action of the attorney is intended to shift blame on the superintendent. Local authorities of Grand July County recently signed a 30-year agreement with businessmen for 500 acres of forest land at the cost of US $6,000. Several members of the National Commission on Disability are continuing their protests against the Commission's Executive Director, Sam Dean, over what they describe as misuse of their empowerment funds. The group recently accused CMD of embezzling over US 200,000 donated by President Joseph Boakai. According to them, the funds were intended to empower street beggars and make them self-sufficient, an allegation the National Commission on Disability Executive Director CMD has denied. In continuation of their protests and calls for an immediate dismissal of the National Commission on Disability head, the group on Thursday presented a petition to the House of Representatives outlining corruption and bad administrative patterns. During the presentation of their petition, the protesting disabled also issued a 72-hour ultimatum to the House of Representatives to look in their complaints and take swift action. According to them, CMD over the time has been unable to represent them properly and have been involved into corruption and selective posture in the distribution of funds meant for every member of the commission. Receiving a petition, Montserrat County District 8 Representative Prince To assured the protesting members of the National Commission on Disability that the plenary would ensure that their concerns are addressed. And the Liberia United Methodist Development Service has begun a 5-day seminar aimed at reviewing the challenges, achievements, and works of the organization in the country. The seminar, code named Competence Seminar 2025 Partnership, is a development and is held under the theme Daring to Surrender and Exploring the Dilemmas of Locally Led Development. Speaking during the launching of the seminar, the United Methodist Church Bishop Samuel Choir told participants that the people of the faith and development partners, every good work must be rooted in relationship in the belief that God works. According to him, the gathering is not just a seminar, but a sacred space for transformation of minds, systems, and hearts. Delivering the keynote speech at the program, the manager of the Port City of Buchanan in Grand Bassa County, Jonathan Kapi, encouraged communities to come together in order to undertake development programs. Kapi noted that when communities come together in undertaking projects, it provides and bring together people and the springboard that no one is left behind and indicates communion ownership. The seminar, which is taking place in a local hotel along the Marshall Highway, brought together participants from Sierra Leone, Zimbabwe, and Norway.
Newton Topwell with the news bulletin. The news bulletin is a regular feature on King's Newsroom. A reminder you're listening to King's Newsroom, 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, in our one word. Stories we follow in tonight: how Speaker Rachel Cohn forcefully adjourned Thursday's section due to lack of control over members of the House of Representatives, says he cannot hold session with people he cannot control. President Joseph Boakai and Foreign Affairs Minister Sarah Beslow Yanti tied hook and job case video criticized by dozens of Liberians, terms as disturbing displayed. And as in the news tonight, solidarity and trust for a new day. Bomi County Senator Edwin Snow and several others applaud Liberian government diplomatic engagement for a 36-month extension of visa solidarity with the United States. Away from home, the leader of Sudan's paramilitary rapid support forces has declared an investigation into what he called violations committed by his soldiers during the capture of Al Fashad. Fresh photos of protests have broken out in Tanzania's major cities, a day after elections marred by clashes between opposition protesters and the police. We take a break to be back with voices of the newsmakers. Welcome back and thanks for being there. The House of Representatives Speaker Rachel Cohn on Thursday was compelled to adjourn section due to what many believe to be lack of control over members of the House of Representatives. This session began with agitation among some members of the House, including Monserrado County District 10 Representative Yeka Kolba, who was later asked out of this section by Speaker Cohn. Here is a highlight of Speaker Cohn asking the Sergeant Arm to put Representative Yeka Kolba out of section.
Sergeant, please order Yeka Kolba out. Kolba, please accompany the sergeant.
Don't come in at the normal. What's wrong with you? You know what you say? You say I will say charge. Thank you. The you should tell our presiding. You don't have the authority.
Please escort on the camera.
Thank you. Give me chance.
Yes.
Highlight of Speaker Cohn asking Monserrado County District 10 Representative Yeka Kolba out. At the same time, Maryland County District 2 Representative Anthony Williams was also asked out of section due to what he termed as denial of his communication to plenary, which speaks against homosexuality.
To the session, they remove the slow. I don't know, just basically, the only agenda, you check the agenda is there. Come here, Johnson Williams. Send to raise that issue, they went to committee rooms. They stay in committee rooms. Some asking them for the discharge, some can pass it. They say, no, you move on the agenda. So I raise the issue and they say, go outside. There's something that there's unfortunate on the part of the speaker. There's unfortunate on the part of the speaker. They cannot support homosexuality. We're here, President Kwana set up bill here that we should ban cultural activity that is harmful. All they accepted the bill. Immediately, instead of committee room, they are discussing it so they can ban cultural activity. Now, homosexual bill appear, they say, no, we should not discuss. You clean everything without cleaning.
Do you think that is being practiced in Nigeria?
Come again?
Do you think homosexuality is being practiced in our country?
It has been practiced. You saw the UFC, the book of discipline. Today, the United Methodist Church, on 12 Street, and ST number is being closed. You can see Judge Barry in Blue, it's being closed. People are worshiping the center house. So when discussing to lay the responsible for all, they say no.
What do you want? What do you want? What does the legislature want in terms of this homosexuality? What is it the communication pushing for?
The communication is pushing for us to discuss it, to show to the world that we as Nigerians can accept homosexual activity. Period.
We're going to pass a law on it.
That's what the bill is calling. Anybody practice it, we make sure we castrate you, we put you in jail for lifetime.
Your procedure also calls for the speaker to have that authority to decide what comes for your floor, to decide what should be discussed.
That's an unfortunate part of it. But it's because I know the speaker knows very well that the issue of homosexual activity is scandal protected. It is not something that we accept. So once they appear and you give us the opportunity, let's play it. Why would you defend the issue? It is not play for someone to come and tell it now that we are children. No, but it is about people. So it's not going to tell it now. Not be satisfied.
Monster, that's Maryland County District 2 Representative Anthony Williams. The word of worries at the House of Representatives escalated, prompting a adjournment of section by the speaker and saying he cannot continue session with a group of people he cannot control. In recent days, tensions have been mounting at the House of Representatives as several lawmakers are normally seen involved with verbal clashes. Grand Judea County Attorney E. Wickens Nunn has announced cancellation of a previously signed 30 years dubious agreement granting a Burkinabe businessman the right to farm on 500 acres of forest land in the county. Anthony Nan, who previously signed the agreement, along with local officials, including Grand Jide County Superintendent Ellis Grant, said he revoked his signatures following directives from the Ministry of Justice and the Executive Mansion. He also noted that he has since communicated with the county superintendent to officially inform the Burkinabe investor regarding the suspension of the deal.
What is not done legally is not done at all. Once the rightful procedures were not observed, the needful should be done. So the soup should be a leader enough and put the people first than any investor, because I'm being ordered by the Minister of Justice, the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia, and all other persons, even from the Executive Mansion, other things that we cannot divulge on radio. So that contract was ordered abrogated, and I communicated saying to the soup that he need to stop until the needful is done, because we needed some stakeholder engagement and some security investigation. Many other things needed to be done that were not done. So I think the soup are giving this time. It was very easy to tell the people of Grand Jide that, the contract is stable and he observing some procedural correction, and then he will get back to the people of Grand Jide, or also inform the investor that he's working on things, that the contract is suspended if he does not want to use the word abrogated. But to see the hauling and pulling in Grand Jide and unnecessary tension built up, I think it's just for good that I speak to the radio, that as far as I'm concerned as the legal advisor to the soup, that there is no contract.
Okay.
And I repeat, there is no contract. So the people of Grand Jide should relax. Nobody land is sold. What is not done legally is not done. So the people land still intact, stay their land until the property is done. No contract.
Grand Jide County Attorney E. Wickens now they're speaking. Several members of the National Commission on Disabilities are continuing their protest against the Commission's executive director, Sam Then, over what they described as misuse of their empowerment funds. Their group recently accused Sam Then of embezzling over US $200,000 donated by President Joseph Boakai. According to them, the funds were intended to empower street beggars and make them self-efficient, an allegation the National Commission on Disability Executive Director has denied.
We been insulted by our leader Sandy. The man said we traumatized. We can't approach children, we can't bomb. Because our own some money business. We don't receive money to move on the street, but the man money either. And he said we traumatized. We can't, but he must say we not correct in the head, so we have to tell them today that we talk about I want Sandy to be removed.
Thank you for telling us to remove our office. Bro, Sandy is stealing our money of the day for us. Sandy went crooked and buy car with it and use our oil.
I realize that Sandy is stealing our money and he's sorting on that. Hey, Sandy telling us we, the black people, we are traumatized. And we want to tell Sandy that we are not traumatized. Sandy was appointed to work for people with disability, but Sandy is not working for us. They want for the government to do, because our lawmaker, they cannot critique people, they can't do back investigation before they confront people. That is just Sandy. We don't need it. Sandy is a former criminal that was shot in America in a back. The spinal cord is not working. Broken body, body, he is exploiting what he make you to suffer. There you go. We don't need him.
In continuation of the protest and calls for immediate dismissal of the National Commission on Disabilities head, the group on Thursday presented a petition to the House of Representatives outlining corruption and bad administrative patterns. Receiving the petition, Monserrado County District 8 lawmaker Prince Tall assured the protesting member of the National Commission on Disabilities that plenary will ensure that their concerns are addressed.
All your lawmaker, even the president of Liberia, the vice president, all of us, government officials, we care for you, the people. We care for you. Yeah? The document you present, all your cans. I won't beg you because you said 3 days. And today we're not working on Tuesday. Or we can put in leadership on Monday. I want you to give me a chance because I'll go write a report. I will write the report, I will bring it before leadership either Monday or on Tuesday will appear on the floor because it's an important matter. So I think we're there for Tuesday. So all the journalists and everybody can be there. So the matter can be read on the floor in plenary. Is that all right? So I'm begging y'all. Y'all said 3 days, but I'm begging y'all. Y'all just standing up to Tuesday where it will be read. So by Wednesday, at least you can come for redress. Okay? So that document, we know by one can make decision. That the entire plenary can make decision. So we'll put this document before plenary. I will go and do my report and I will give it to plenary and y'all will hear it on radio. It will be there, y'all will hear everything. Even y'all can send representation on Tuesday to listen. Y'all will be here to listen to everything I will say in plenary. Okay? So we care about y'all. We care about your interest. We ensure that we seek your interest. Y'all, thank you. That God bless us. Okay?
Monserrado County District 8 Representative Prince Tall earlier you heard voices of protesting members of the National Commission on Disabilities. A reminder you're listening to King's News, Broom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Stories to follow in tonight. House Speaker Rachel Cohn forcefully adjourned Thursday's section due to lack of control over members of the House of Representatives. Says he cannot hold session with people he cannot control. President Joseph Boakai and Foreign Affairs Minister Sarah Bespo Yanti tied Hawk and job case. Video criticized by dozens of Liberians stands as disturbing displayed. Solidarity and Trust for a New Day, Broom County Senator Eden Snow and several others employed Liberian government's diplomatic engagement for a 36-month extension of visa validity with the United States. Away from home, the leader of Sudan's paramilitary Rapid Support Forces has declared an investigation into what he called violations committed by his soldiers during the capture of Al-Fashar. Fresh protests have broken out in Tanzania's major cities a day after elections, marked by clashes between opposition supporters and the police. Take another break to be back with more voices. Welcome back and thanks for being there. Information Minister Geraldine McPear has expressed serious disappointment over criticisms from people describing the 3 years visa reciprocity from the U.S. government as non-achievement. Pia emphasized that the visa extension is a huge achievement of the Unity Party-led government and noting that previous administration did not achieve such feat. He further noted that the Boakai-Cohn administration is doing everything humanly possible to restore Liberia's image on the international stage, making reference to Liberia election on the UN Security Council.
The government of America has announced an extension of the visa validity of visa in the non-immigrant category for Liberian citizens. The category of visa being mentioned, B1 and B2, are not visas that are used by government officials when the Yapa wants to travel. You have A visa or D visa or one of those categories. The visas we're talking about are B1, which is normally used by business people, and B2, which is the one each of you here, whenever you apply and want to get a visa, now why you use. Recent, visas are being issued to people in some cases for just 3 months, single entry. what are being announced is something that used to happen way in the past. That's before we fought war. Now you and Apple. We were qualified to get visa for up to 3 years. All of that became history. And the maximum period of B1, B2 visa that will come to our citizens for 1 year, multiple entry. The category of people getting that also dropped. So they announced this. I guess if they have said the country has been placed under visa restriction, which again will not affect the other official when they put visa restriction or the power has to do something, they will get visa restriction. The people who are affected always will be ordinary people. So this pronouncement is about the country, yes, but mostly about the ordinary people, where many of you fall. What has been the response for some people who on the other side? Visa will eat, visa will be the road, threatening all kinds of things. I saw one interesting post where the person said, we hope people have also negotiated with the embassy or with the American government, so the huge rate of denial can also be dropped.
Information Minister Gerald Pierre. The Liberia United Methodist Development Service has begun a 5-day seminar aimed at reviewing the challenges, achievements, and works of the organization in the country. The seminar, codenamed Competence Seminar 2025 Partnership in Development, is held under the theme Daring to Surrender, Exploring the Dilemmas of Locally Led Development. Speaking during the launching of the seminar, United Methodist Church Bishop Samuel Choir told participants, as people of faith and development partners, every good work must be rooted in relationship, in the belief that God works.
For more than a decade, Competence has stood as a beacon of partnership and shared learning within the Partnership in Development, PID family. It has been a platform where nations, churches, and communities come together, bound by a common vision to uplift the poor, to empower the marginalized, and to build a more just and compassionate world. This year's theme, Daring to Surrender, exploring the dilemmas of locally led development, speaks deeply to our times. It calls upon all of us, both local and international partners, to reflect sincerely on what it truly means to trust, to empower, and to share leadership. True partnership is not about control. It is about mutual respect, humility, and the courage to let others lead. As people of faith and development practitioners, we are reminded that every good work must be rooted in relationship, in the belief that God works through all people, in every place. When we choose to collaborate rather than compete, this gathering is therefore not just a seminar, but a sacred space for transformation of minds, systems, and hearts. On behalf of Mother Richland White Choir, the mother of the United Methodist Church of Liberia, our lay leader, the Liberia United Methodist Development Services LOMS, and all our partners in development, I now formally declare the Competence Seminar 2025 officially launched.
United Methodist Church Bishop Samuel Choir delivering the keynote speech at the program. The manager of the Port of Buchanan in Grand Bassa County, Jonathan Carpe, encouraged communities to come together in order to undertake development programs.
A single basket does not jingle. One person alone cannot bring transformation. But when the community comes together, when leaders and citizens join hands, the sounds of progress can be heard. This is what locally led development means. From the African perspective, it is not new. Our ancestors always knew this. Across Liberia, people practice what we call communal farming or coup, labor where neighbors work together on each other's farm, ensuring no one was left behind. They practice susu, small contribution gathered to support one in need. These traditions remind us that development in Africa has always been community driven. Why this approach is critical, because local leaders and communities understand their unique challenges better than anyone else. They are the ones who live with the realities every day, who holds the cultural wisdom, and who have the strongest motivation to make lasting change. When development is led locally, it reflects the true needs and aspirations of the people it is intended to serve. That brings us to why we are gathered here today. We stand on the cusp of a remarkable initiative, one that promises to transform our community. We celebrate the Square of Kodepro, Save and Improve Learning in School, SAIL. This project is not just another initiative, it is a testimony to strong ties of friendship and solidarity between our friends from Norway.
Manager of the Port of Buchanan, Janitor Kapi Ella, you heard the voice of United Methodist Church Bishop Samuel Choir. The Independent Elections Committee of the Reporters Association of Liberia has announced November 8th of this year as the official date for the conduct of the association's election. The election, initially scheduled for October 25, was postponed due to the slow pace of aspirants' registration, among other things. Speaking on King's Haven Wednesday, the committee's chairman, Frank Mountain, stated that a decision to extend the election date aims to give all aspirants sufficient time to fulfill the constitutional requirements of the RAL before contesting for any position.
The Constitution provides that the current leadership spent 3 years in power. So we open vacancies for all positions in the association, ranging from the presidency, the vice presidency, the secretary general, the assistant secretary general, and the financial secretary per the Constitution. So we release a statement, if my mind can recollect me better, on September 2, 2025, release positions that are vacant and given a timetable. But we noticed that some of our colleagues was not complying for the timetables given, so we decided to add additional 10 days. So the elections, by right, should have been conducted the 25th of October 2025, but based on delayed and all out, thing, the political maneuvering of the association. So we have decided that the elections be conducted on the 8th November 2025. So I can speak to you and even your listening audience and all journalists across the countries who have been concerned about when the elections will be conducted. November 8th will be the official date election. Some part of last week, we released a statement and mandating all reporters across the country to pay their due, and even contestants in these elections to also pay their due. There are being contestant parties appearing that at this point in, like I said, there are being contestant parties on grievances, on issues about due payment. Parties are, contesting that they are unable to pay the due because of the time frame. So we are being in conversations with the press unions of Liberia period leadership to see how best that we can make everything possible for all parties to be satisfied in this process. So we were able to compromise portions of the Constitution and talk about due payment. So to allow all reporters to form part of the voting process. The first requirement now is that no one is paying due. Let me make this clear to you. All right. No reporter is paying due. Now, as a reporter, you are only required now to take your voting card In fact, your institution cut.
Okay.
Instead, Stephen Compton work for King's FN, and then you want to vote in the election.
Okay.
So what you need to do now is to regularize your status with the association. You have to take your voting card to the PEO headquarters, where the chairman of the Congress committee, Benjamin Quay.
He's Frank Mountain, the chairperson of the Reporters Association of Liberia Independent Elections Committee. Former Broom County Senator Sandor Johnson has expressed deep frustration and disappointment in the United Party-led government, accusing it of abandoning him and his supporters despite that strong backing during the 2023 general presidential elections that brought President Joseph Boakai to power. Johnson said he and his supporters made significant sacrifices to ensure the United Party victory, but have since been neglected by the administration.
Support United Party that if I want to work for this government, if I want to provide or I want to do a contract for the government, you must deprive me. No. I suffered. I went through hell. I went to the people. I was in bombing, as in the Tala and I. But 3 months in the bushes. See, this is spent millions of dollars. We didn't have money to spend. We want to convince our people to vote for President Parker. He alone will not do it. So if you don't protect my interest, you know, so I should wonder with all that when you guys are trying to come in now. Then you call me? Help no. I'm not a child. I got supporters. They have to survive. You don't want to help them. But I should be saying that I'm for my leg. Oh, Senator Johnson, Rescue Mission starting 2020 now. I said I will not support Unity Party in 2029. Let me repeat. I will not repeat it. I will not support Unity Party in 2029. Sando Dazo Johnson making the statement. I've said it. Those that have ears have heard it. I'm sure the president have heard it. I'm sure his vice president have heard it. I did it only for President Parker. Only. And I will not go beyond that. Nobody else behind them I will support. Help me.
But will you support someone in 2029?
I just told you that the same.
Will you support someone?
Definitely. If I conclude with CMC, I will support them. Period.
Broom County, former Senator Sando Dazo Johnson. Away from home, the leader of Sudan's paramilitary rapid forces or support forces has declared an investigation into what he called violations committed by his soldiers during a capture of Afashar. The announcement of General Muhammad Hamdan Dagalo, known as Hemeti, came after escalating reports of surveillance killings from the RSF takeover of the city in the Darfur region on Sunday. The RSF leader spoke after international outrage about reports of mass killings in Afashar, apparently documented by his paramilitary fighters in social media videos. A spokesman for the paramilitary group has since denied further accusations by medics that the RSF had killed more than 400 people at a hospital in the city on Tuesday. And fresh protests have broken out in Tanzania's major cities a day after elections, marred by clashes between opposition supporters and the police. Gunfire heard in the northern city, while clashes broke out in the capital, Duduman, and the main city, Dar es Salaam, which is on heavy security with major roads blocked. Protesters accused the government of undermining democracy as the main opposition leader is in jail and another opposition figure was disqualified from the presidential election, bolstering President Samia Suluhu Hassan's chances of winning. The Electoral Commission has started announcing results with Samia getting nearly 95% of the vote in northwestern Embo province. Well, on that note, that's how we come to a near end of this edition of King's Newsroom. But before we leave, a quick reminder of stories we followed in the headlines. House Speaker Rachel Cohn forcefully adjourned Thursday's section due to lack of control over members of the House of Representatives, says he cannot hold section with people he cannot control. President Joseph Boakai and Foreign Affairs Minister Sarah Beslow Yanti tied Hawk and Joel case video criticized by dozens of Liberians, terms as disturbing displayed. You also heard in the news Solidarity and Trust for a New Day, Bomi County Senator Edwin Snow and several others employed Liberian government's diplomatic engagement for a 36-month extension of visas validity with the United States. Away from home, the leader of Sudan's paramilitary rapid support forces has declared an investigation into what he called violations committed by his soldiers during the capture of Afashar. First, protests have broken out in Tanzania's major cities, a day after elections marked by clashes between opposition supporters and the police. Many thanks to our reporters, correspondents, and all those who helped in making this edition of King's Newsroom a success. Newton Topa brought you the news bulletin. Frank Diallo Swain sat at control and handled the technical aspect of this edition. On behalf of the team, I'm Shemon Dea. I presented. Thanks for listening and watching.